In this video, we're going to be reviewing converting fractions into decimals. And this is something that we talked about earlier in the school year, but I want to cover it again because it kind of starts to extend into some other things that we're going to start talking about this unit as far as fraction, decimal, and percent conversions. So just like before, we're going to pull out the whole number if there is one, so if necessary. And we're going to make the whole number of the decimal. So if we look at our example off to the side, we have this 2 here. We're going to pull the 2 out. And then it says use long division to divide the numerator by the denominator. So I pulled out the 2. Now I'm going to do numerator divided by the denominator, which is top dog in the house. So I need to write that in the house. So I'm going to put 1 inside, 4 goes outside. 4 can't go into 1. 4 can go into 10 2 times. Make sure you add that decimal point up top. That'll be 8. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down a 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times, which is 20. Subtract, I get 0. Now, because this has a whole number of 2, I'm not going to use 0.25. I'm going to use 2.25. So there's your solution. Okay, and like I said, this is just some review. So let's practice these ones. Top dog in the house. So 4 goes inside, 5 goes outside. 5 can't go into 4. So I'm going to add a decimal and some zeros. You can add 3 if you want to, or just go one at a time. I like to do 3. 5 goes into 40 8 times, which would be 40. And that would be 0. So my solution to this one is just 0.8. Top dog in the house. 5 goes inside, 8 goes outside. 8 can't go into 5, so I add a decimal and some zeros. 8 can go into 50 6 times, which would be 48. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times, which is 16. I get 4. Bring down another 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times, which is 40. So my answer for this one is 0.625. And then your last one, remember you have this whole number of 2, so pull that out, set it aside, 2 point, and then top dog in the house, so 9 goes inside, 12 goes outside. 12 can't go into 9, so I'm going to add a 0 and some zeros underneath. 12 goes into 90 7 times, which would be 84. Subtract 6, bring down the 0. 12 goes into 60 5 times. So I get 2 point, I don't need the 0 because I have a 2, 7 5. Okay? So what I would like for you to do is I want you to try these ones here on the bottom. If it's not already changed for you, I want you to change this problem from 2/9 to 2/5. So like I said, it could be changed in your notes, but if it's not, I want you to change it to 2/5. So go ahead and try 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Unpause the video when you're ready to check your work. And here are your answers. Remember with 7, 8, 9, you needed to set the whole number out to the side. If you can remember what 1/2 is, you know it's 0.5. You don't even have to do the long division for number 7. Same thing for number 9. If you know that 3/4 is 0.75 because that's 3/4, which is 75 cents. You don't even have to do the long division for that one. Again, for number 5, if you can remember 3/10 is the first place behind the decimal point, you don't even have to do long division for that one. So there are some tricks. So if you don't like long division, you can kind of shorten up your work a little bit.
So a repeating decimal are decimals that repeat the same number or a group of numbers indefinitely or over and over. You show that a decimal is repeating by placing a bar over the digits. So just like we did on that other page, we had 5, 5, 5, and then we put a bar on that last 5. That shows that the 5 goes on forever and will never stop. Now, an irrational number are decimals that do not terminate or repeat. And when a number is irrational, you should round to the nearest thousandths place. And that's what I was talking about on the other page. So we're going to do some practice with that on this page. So let's look at some guided examples. So if we look at number 10 is 1/3. Remember, top dog goes in the house. 3 does not go into 1, so I get a 0. Add a 0 here. 3 goes into 10 3 times, which gives me 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. Then I bring down another 0. 3 goes into 10 3 times, 9. All right, I'm starting to get a pattern going here, but I have to check it a third time. 0, 3 goes into 10 3 times, 9. Okay, I officially have a repeating pattern here. So when I write my answer, I'm going to write 0.333 repeating. And I went out to the thousandths place to make sure that it was repeating. All right, let's look at the next one, number 11. Top dog goes in the house. 7. 7 goes into 4. It cannot, so 0. 7 goes into 40 5 times, which is 35. Subtract. 40 minus 35 is 5. Bring down the 0. 0. 7 goes into 50 7 times, which is 49. Gives me a remainder 1. Bring down another 0. Now this is my last time because I have to do it 3 times. 7 goes into 10 1 time, which is 7. And that's remainder 3. Now I'm not going to write remainder 3 up here. I'm just knowing that this is an irrational decimal that will go on forever and will never, ever, ever stop, at least in the terms that we're talking about out to the thousandths place. So the answer to this is 0.751. I'm sorry, 571. Okay, let's look at our last example, number 2, or 12, I'm sorry. So we have a whole number of 2, so the 2 is going to work just like it did in our other decimals. Now we have 2/9, top dog in the house. 9 can't go into 2, so we add a 0 and a decimal, and another 0. 9 goes into 20 2 times. 18, subtract, and I get 2. Bring down a 0. All right, 9 goes into 20 2 times. All right, I'm starting to see a pattern here because I have remainder 2 again. Bring down a 0 again, last time. 9 goes into 20 2 times. Remainder 2. Now, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 goes on forever because it keeps giving me the same remainder over and over and over again. So it's going to be 2 for the whole number, and then 2, 2, 2 for the decimal we found, and don't forget to put that repeating bar on the top. So I want you to practice 13 through 18 on your own. When you're ready, unpause the video, and we'll check it. Okay, and here are your answers for 13 through 18. Remember, you should have a repeating bar, and for the other ones, they're irrational numbers, so you should take them out to the thousandths place. Our last page with this lesson is converting decimals to percentages. So we've been doing a lot of review with this in ALEX for a lot of you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the decimal point. You're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right And the way you can think of this is I want to become a percent, so I'm going to move 2 towards my percent sign to become a percent. So hint, moving the decimal is the same as multiplying by 100 because there's 2 zeros in 100. You can also think that there's 2 zeros in a stick, 1, 0, 0, in the percent sign. So you can see that there's 2 moves because of the 2 zeros in the percent sign. And the other thing is when dealing with repeating decimals, your percent will also be repeating. So let's do an example of that. But let's hit the examples up here, just the basic ones. So for our first example, you have to find the decimal point. Well, in this case, there is no decimal point because it's a whole number. Well, in a whole number, the decimal is in the very back of the number. And you have to move it 2, so we're going to move 1, 2, and we're going to fill in these spaces with zeros. So this actually comes out to be 900%, because I have to move the decimal 2 places away from where it is, and it's already behind the 9. Now, in 13.5, the decimal place is here. I'm going to start from where the decimal point is and move it 2 towards my percent sign. I have to fill in the space with a 0, so it's 1350%, so 1,350% in that case. Now let's look at this repeating example here. This is 6 repeating. So what I think is easier, add a few 6s to remind yourself that it's repeating. Then you're going to move your decimal 2, 1, 2. So it becomes 66.6, and because this 6 goes on forever, repeating percent. So 66.6 repeating percent. You have to put that 0.6 repeating to show that the 6 is repeating on forever, even though it's a percentage. All right, so let's do 3 of them together, and then you're going to do the bottom 9 on your own. So number 19, this has a repeating 5, so I'm going to put a few 5s so I don't forget it's repeating. And I want to turn it to a percent, so I'm going to go towards my percent sign, because percent sign's in the back, 1, 2. So this becomes 25.5 with a bunch of 5s repeating percent. 25.5 repeating percent. The next one, my decimal point's already there. I'm going to move it 2, 1, 2. So it becomes 237.5% as the final answer. The last one, I have 3 repeating, so add a few 3s. Move it 2, 1, 2. Becomes 33.3 repeating percent. Don't forget about the extra 3 repeatings in the back. So I want you to do the next 9. When you're ready, unpause the video and we will check them. All right, and here are your answers for 22 through 30.